everybody. I'm Jack Midkiff, and I want to welcome you to my podcast. As always, thanks for clicking on and subscribing and always listening. And I would ask you to share these with other people if they are entertaining or helpful or a blessing to you. Then just help me get the word out. I would also, if you're coming across this and you don't follow me on socials, I'd ask you to do that. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all those things, Jack_Midkiff. And I just appreciate the follows and likes and subscribes. And these podcasts are on Spotify and the videos on YouTube. And so just trying to connect and just help some folk. Today I want to talk about career choices. I want to, if you are a younger person and you're trying to figure out what it is you're supposed to be doing in this world, maybe you're someone that is in the middle of your life or you feel like you are, and you go, well, I'm just not really happy with what I'm doing. Maybe you've already lived a while, you've raised your kids, and you just, maybe you're retired. I hear of a lot of people that have retired and then they choose to do something else. It's important, I believe, to pick what you do, or if sometimes I've heard of some very successful people, their jobs, their professions, their businesses, almost picking them. They started something maybe out of necessity, and then all of a sudden it turned into something really lucrative financially as well as emotionally and just every other way. So the main thing is for me today is that I find peace. Money's good. Oh, money's so good. And anybody that says, oh, it don't matter about the money, well, okay, cheers to you, pal, but it does matter about the money to me, because one of the reasons you work is to make money, right? Now, if you're in ministry, that's obviously not the main reason you get into ministry, because after 25 years, almost 25 years of being in full-time ministry, let me help you with something. If you want to make lots of money and you're just choosing a career, then choose something other than ministry, because that's not what you choose it for, and quite frankly, it's not what you're going to make it at. Now, I will tell you that if you are doing ministry on a full-time basis because you feel that that's what you're supposed to be doing, I believe that God will bless you. He will give you ideas and He'll give you opportunities. There's been so many people that started out in full-time ministry and then ended up, writing books or, recording music or something like that. And God will just exponentially bless them. Hey, His favor can be on you no matter where you're at, what you're doing. But as you choose what it is that you are going to be doing in life and that you are going to find yourself doing for a long period of time, there's a few things that I just want to share with you that I've learned over the years that can help you make those decisions. And when you use these tools, and, they're just ideas and thoughts, but you can also look at them as tools. You can sometimes help yourself a whole lot, and I hope you can do that by some of the things that I'm about to tell you. First of all, what is it that you love? What you love, the thing that you love to do, the thing that you're passionate about, that can be a great indication of what you could find in the career path. The things you love can cause you to have passion to work harder than other people. I heard somebody that was very successful one time say, when you're willing to do what nobody else is willing to do, you're setting yourself up to get what nobody else is able to get. And the reason is because, you know, my son has a sign in his room or office or somewhere that says, your dreams only work if you do. I believe that. Now, I know that there's some folks that have been born into money and that you've been blessed to be able to have parents that can set you up and all that. And, hey, that's wonderful too. Good for you. It still takes work to even maintain. So that's awesome. But a lot of people, and I kind of fell into this category, wasn't born into money. You were born with an initiative down inside. I had one guy tell me one time, he said, I'll work hard. He said, but I don't take initiative, you know. There's a lot of people like that. I'm not ambitious, I think is what he said to me. He said, I'm a hard worker. I'm just not ambitious. And that's a thing. Maybe you fall in that category. I'm just going to shoot you straight today. Then find a good company to work for. Because if you're going to own your own business, you got to be ambitious. If you're going to lead something, if you're going to be the one that plows new ground, so to speak, you got to be ambitious. You got to have that thing inside of you that says, I'm willing to do what other people ain't willing to do. And so what you love is a great indication sometimes of a good career path for you. What you hate is also a good indication. You say, why is it what you hate? Because you want to change something. You know, the reason I started High Praises Church was probably more about what I didn't like than what I did like. Number one, I love God. Number two, I felt like I was called of God to preach. But I really didn't think that I was going to be a pastor. But when I started seeing what wasn't, when I started seeing how there was so much, division, and then I started having this desire to have a place where it didn't matter. And the way I've always said it is, don't matter what you look like, act like, smell like, or talk like, you're welcome at our church. And so that thing that I hated, division because of racism, division because of politics, division because of denominationalism. And I'm not against any race. I'm not against you having your own views on politics, because I have mine. I just don't share them with the world. I'm not against, someone once said to me, Pastor, I'm just like you. I don't like denominations either. I never said one time I didn't like denominations. It's just not where I am called to work. It's not where I'm called to be a part of. There's great benefit in being a part of a denomination if that's what you're called to do. But I saw such division in all those areas, and that's what really, that irritation, I hate to say the word hate, but I hated the division. I really did. And so that kind of spurred me to start a church in our area. And, 24 and a half years later, here we are, still doing what we're called to do, trying to bring people together. And even this year, Satan has tried his best in ways that I've never seen before, ways I've never encountered before, to bring division. He loves division. Why? Because there's so many scriptures that says how beautiful and lovely it is when brethren dwell together in unity. That's one scripture, Psalm 133, but there's so many other passages of scripture that talks about how powerful unity is. So it can be something you love. It can be something you hate. It certainly is important to know what your giftings are, because your giftings can get you in front of kings. And when I say kings, I mean business owners, I mean financial guys, I mean, people that can help you with your business or your career. And let me say one other thing. When I said a while ago, if you're not ambitious, find a good company to work for, that wasn't I hope that didn't come across any kind of a slurry way. There's nothing wrong with working for an awesome company. Nothing at all. That may very well be what you're supposed to be doing in your career path. My only point was when the guy told me he was a hard worker but not ambitious, my only point is if you're not ambitious, then owning your own business, leading your own ministry, whatever, that's probably not the path for you because nobody will hand it to you. And without trying to sound negative today, I do want to just say that kind of plain and simple. If you're watching this podcast or listening to this podcast and you're wondering, how can I be successful in life? Let me help you with something. Lazy don't help. Lazy won't work. If you want something to happen, baby, you got to make it happen. Now, okay, if you want to get scriptural, let's get scriptural. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. If you're a Christian, then you have the power of God within you. If you're listening to this and you go, well, I'm not a Christian, but I want to know how to succeed. Well, first of all, of course, I would suggest you become a Christian. You need Jesus. But hard work, what you sow, you will reap, works for people that are Christians and are not Christians. It works for people that trust Jesus and don't trust Jesus. That's why so many people in the church, they see someone, that's got a boat and they go, oh, they don't even pay tithe, but they've got a boat and I don't have a boat. Well, maybe they went to school. Maybe they prepared themselves. Maybe they have a better job than you. Maybe they have different skills than you. So this principle works for whoever works it. And so I would just suggest to you to figure out some of the things that you love, some of the things that you hate, some of the things, what inspires you? What do you want to see changed in this world? What do you want to accomplish? Maybe your what you're trying to accomplish as far as changing the world, so to speak, or doing something in the ministry. Maybe your job that's not really ministry or not, maybe it's not your own business. Maybe that's going to help you pay for or do. It doesn't have to be. I see so many people wanting to change the world. Well, first thing you got to do is be able to change your situation. Change your situation from being broke to having money. And that just takes work. Listen, before I go any further, let me be a little redundant maybe. First of all, I give all praise and glory to God. I give him praise for being able to get up out of bed in the morning. I give him praise for being able to move my fingers and walk and think straight. And so I give God all the praise. But he gives me the power to do the things that I need to do. He gives me the intelligence. My intelligence, didn't come just from my parents or this world. I give him all the credit. But on the practical side, you've got to be willing to apply that yourself. Figure out what it is that you love. Figure out what you hate. Figure out what it is that you just can't leave alone. You've got to have a part of that. There's a ministry in our church that's called Embrace Grace. It's through the local Pregnancy Resource Center. And one day, last year, someone came to me and said, hey, can we be a part of this? And they brought that ministry to our church. Well, that particular person that brought it to me, they were affected by a lot of what the families are affected by that are in that ministry, that ministry ministers to. And so they had a passion there. What do you have a passion for? Is there something that people, and yeah, we say it's through God sending people, but that someone helped you with, and then maybe you want to use that same ability to turn around and help someone else. There's just so many things. But the bottom line today is I want to say to not just the younger generation, but all of us, inactivity doesn't help anybody. Just sitting around doesn't help anybody. Doesn't help you, doesn't help the... Now, you can't work your way into heaven, and I do agree that you should always, work smarter, not harder. I get all that. But you got to be active, and you got to, use your brain, use your reasoning abilities, use what God has placed inside of you to be able to accomplish some things. Look around. What do you have? What resources do you have? Maybe you need to start a business. Maybe you're unemployed right now. Maybe you need to find a job. What are you able to do? Someone once said, well, I'm not going to take that job because I'm waiting on my career to open up. You never know when that job may lead to a wonderful career. Don't what I would say, pigeonhole yourself. Don't put yourself in a box. Don't say, oh, I can only do this in life. I can only do that. God may, this has happened. Now, I don't believe God sends hard things. I do not. But in hard times, God can reveal to you abilities and things that you didn't know you were able to do. So in those hard times and in that situation, maybe you should allow God to, go to him. Figure out, sometimes in those hard times, you figure out you need to move, figure out you need to change companies, you figure out you need to, apply for another position. I don't know. But the bottom line is, and it's kind of going to be a short podcast because I've pretty much said what I wanted to say. If you are listening, looking, watching, whatever to me today, and you're going, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing? How can I help my family or whatever? Go read a book. You can download it on your phone. You can, find it on Amazon. Go read a book called The Law of Recognition. A lot of times we don't recognize what's right in front of us. In this book, the man who wrote this book gives this story. He said he wanted a pond on his property, and he wanted he lived in Texas, so the ground was flat. He wanted a little hill. He wanted some rolling place. Well, he was talking to a friend of his that just so happened to be in the construction business. And he was telling him, he said, I'm going to sell this property. Now, he said he loved his home. He loved the location. He just, he had about 20 acres or something like that. But he wanted a pond. He wanted water on his property. And he said he was telling this guy, and this guy said, well, you could have that right here. And the guy who's writing the book, he was like, what? There's no pond here. There's no hills here. This is all flat. He said what happened was the guy said, well, what you could do is dig the hole right there for the pond. He said, then we can put the dirt and maybe even carry some more dirt in and make a little hill. Anyway, when it was said and done, the guy did not sell the house that he liked. He did not have to move out of the location he was at, but they dug a hole. They moved the dirt and they brought some dirt in. They made this hill. They put a gazebo up on this hill, and all of a sudden, he had what he wanted. And his words was, he said, the pond was always there, just waiting on me, on somebody, to recognize where the hole needed to be. The hill for the gazebo was always there. The opportunity was always there, just waiting for somebody to recognize where they could put it. What you need very well could be already in your life, just waiting for you to recognize it. So Hey, don't give up. Don't give in. Don't get aggravated and want to throw your hands up and quit. You got this. You can do it. With God's help, you can overcome any situation. It might be time for you to put yourself in maybe a little bit uncomfortable situation, stretch your faith a little bit, and take that step. I don't know. Maybe not, but don't give up. I'm Jack Midkiff. Thanks for being part of this podcast today.